Hello and welcome back. I am Conan Librarian with Conan's EDC, Easy Dad Carry, and today I am going to be doing something kind of fun. These are the Walmart holiday gift bundle things. I think a lot of us have seen these, and I look at them every year and I've always really been tempted. They seem a little cheesy, and some of this stuff I'm a little... I don't know how sure I am about some of the quality, but at the same time, these were on sale after the holiday, I think like $8 a piece, and I thought, why not? Honestly, I've paid a lot more for a lot less, and at the end of the day, even if it's just a junk drawer blade or a beater to have around the house, it's not a bad thing for a few bucks. So I'm gonna pop these open, see how they feel, see how they perform, and see if maybe for a couple bucks these might actually be worth picking up. Every year they seem to change. These aren't the same packs that they had last year, and I'm sure next year is going to be something different. But I think a lot of us overlook some of this stuff because it's not the highest quality brand name. But to discount something just because it's cheap is kind of discounting opportunities out there. So we're going to give this a try and see how it feels, see how it does. We're going to start with the 6-piece combo set. You can see a knife, a cheap multi-tool, little box cutter thing, and either that's a flashlight or a laser. You can pause here if you want to see what's in there. It looks like a little LED flashlight. I don't know if I'll actually need to cut this. So it's stainless steel blade. So the quality on this is... it's going to be what it is, but there's a lot of blades out there that are just stainless steel that honestly aren't that terrible. Ozark Trail should be pretty familiar to anyone that's walked into a Walmart for any sort of outdoor stuff. And honestly, I have some very nice camping and hiking gear, but at the same time, Ozark Trail makes some stuff that's really not terrible. And if you're looking to just kind of fill some gaps on a budget, check out Ozark Trail stuff. All right. Just gonna kind of start from what came out. We'll start with the blade because that's honestly kind of the number one thing a lot of people go for these for. Just a basic flipper. It's assisted in there. It actually feels pretty good in the hand. It's got the glass breaker on the bottom. It's got the belt or line cutter here. I mean, that's actually a pretty good feel, and if you notice on this, pocket carries pretty decent on that. Pretty high profile or low profile in the pocket, so that's pretty cool. The thumb stud, it's a little tough. I mean, when you have a new blade, it's always hard to say how well it's going to perform after a while, but the flip action is actually pretty good. The problem I always have with blades like this is when it has this point on the bottom and you want to get a good grip, you can always get a good grip overall. But something like this where I'm trying to pop it open here on the thumb stud, you can see the glass breaker is actually biting down into my hand. I wouldn't want to carry this in a pocket per se, where I might be worried about jabbing myself, because that's pretty good. Overall though, so far, I like the feel. I actually like the look. The plastic's a little smooth. I might rough it up with maybe a file. Most importantly, and I'll be honest, I don't have super high hopes, but the edge out of the box. Whoa. Ozark Trail. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. That was a beautiful first cut. Well, I will give it credit for a beautiful first cut. Honestly, this isn't too bad though. Just stainless. I mean, it'll take an edge. I think if I were to carry this, I might actually take this apart and see about taking off this mechanism. I have things in my car if I have to break glass. You can always use your headrest. But this, I'm kind of impressed with this flipper. Get into it here. Little keychain guy. I'm willing to bet doesn't turn on right away because it probably has... let's see. Yeah, it's got a little guard inside to keep it from turning on. Always smart. May have accidentally flipped a battery. Let's find out. So just a little push button keychain light. A couple lumens, maybe 5-10 lumens. Not a bad, just a little Firefly light. I like that it has actually, and this may seem that like a small thing, but the fact that it has 2 contact points, either the keyring or the little hook on it, the opening clasp. That's a nice little touch because personally, something like this I'd want to probably put permanently on something because I wouldn't be using it all the time, but just something to dangle off. The multi-tool, now this is where I never really have high expectations when it comes to budget. And you can see immediately it doesn't line up when you close it. It's this hollow body shell, probably some sort of aluminum or just pig metal. It at least doesn't have a spring on it. What I find a lot of times with the springs on the super cheap ones, it actually makes them less comfortable to function. So, basic little multi-tool, tool set on it, file. What else have we got? Serrated blade, not too bad. I guess a small driver, large driver, little, is that 5-centimeter ruler on here. File actually is nice and coarse. Don't know if you can see that, but that file is actually not too bad on that. On the other side, if we had the serrated, then we have to have the regular blade, just a pretty small one. But let's take a look, see how this does. Yeah, that's better than not having a blade, but not as good as having a regular blade, that's for sure. But it's got the basic tools. Can opener, little awl in there, and a Phillips head. So really not a terrible little multi-tool. I'm not going to go through cutting stuff because honestly I feel like if I really put this to the test, well, you can already see, look how misaligned. So even at full price, so far, 15 bucks. I mean, this is a $3 to $5 knife. This is a $1 to $3 keychain. This is a super cheap 5, maybe 10 bucks if it had a better brand. The fact that it comes with a little sheath isn't terrible. And I will say, and I think a lot of us have just a collection of these by now. They're not terrible to have because also say I want to keep an extra knife. I want a place to just put slim gear. These pouches are useful for way more than just multi-tools. And then this guy. This is honestly the thing I was probably the most excited about in this, is just this little box cutter. So you can see it's got a driver here, a little flathead or scraper. Flathead scraper there. A little just 3-point Phillips, I guess a little scraper. This is a hex driver as well as a bottle opener because everything's got to have a bottle opener. And a little lanyard hole, so if you're going to hang it, you have that option. That's pretty nice. And then on the other side is where you would secure your razors. So I personally use box cutters all the time. I like them, especially if I don't want to dull my knife. The feel on this is pretty good. My only kind of gripe on it, there's no, I mean, you can hang it. So if this were, I guess, an emergency situation, or if you wanted an easier way to grab it, you'd put a lanyard through this just to give it a tail to make it easier to find and grab. And then it comes with a couple extra blades. It looks like another 4 blades in here in this little loaded spring box. So, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. There we go. You'd be careful with that. So at 15 bucks original price, I would say it's worth 15. Barely. If it didn't have this box cutter piece in it, I would say it wasn't worth 15 at all. At 8 bucks, absolutely worth it. So far the 6-piece combo, I think is worth the money. All right, we're gonna do a jump cut and take a look at the next one.